In this video, I'm going to talk about buying a Nintendo Switch in 2023, if it's actually worth buying and playing a Nintendo Switch in 2023. Let's talk about it. Now, the first thing that I want to mention is how old these consoles are, because that's the first thing we should talk about. So the original Nintendo Switch came out in 2017, got a sort of 1080p resolution. We still have the touchscreen. The only thing that was bad about this console necessarily was this thing right here. Really small sort of stand, but everything else is alright. Pretty boring Joy-Cons in terms of colors, but that was sort of the basic thing. And we also had the Switch Lite that came out a couple of years ago. In 2021, we had the OLED Switch come out. This is what this looks like. We got an upgraded stand. We got these new colors in terms of Joy-Cons. And also on top of that, we got some special edition Nintendo Switches that also came out. This is the newest one. This is the Legend of Zelda version. This is really, really good. So got some special features. What's cool about these is the Joy-Cons and the back of this have interesting designs. So you can get all sorts. You can get like Mario ones with the red and the blue. So you can get, customized Nintendo Switches. So yes, I have bought a brand new Nintendo Switch this year. The reason why is because I wanted something very specific for sort of what I wanted. The new Zelda came out this year. I don't know, I just was quite attracted to the design. It was very interesting, which is why I bought it. Now, do I think the original Nintendo Switch is still worth buying? Not really. I feel like you should probably go for the OLED Nintendo Switch or Switch Lite, because Switch Lite is very affordable, but it only has that portability mode, so it does have that downside because of that. Whereas the OLED has all the new features, bigger stand, that's a big thing, and also a bigger, wider screen, updated Joy-Cons. Altogether, I think it's probably the best one to get. Still though, it's like the same price as buying a Xbox Series S. I think having the portability is a major pro for having a Nintendo Switch. So if you want to play sort of games on the go, definitely get yourself a Nintendo Switch. It's the most affordable handheld console. In terms of the games, there's some pros and cons, because the backwards compatibility for most of these games, including sort of Nintendo DS games, any Game Boy games, most of that backwards compatibility doesn't exist. They've started making some waves with that sort of stuff with some of the apps that they have with some backwards compatibility, but you don't have like some of the older Pokemon games that we love and play still, like Pokemon Emerald, for example, or Pokemon Leaf Green. We don't have any backwards compatibility for that. We don't have some of the older Zelda games on here and stuff like that. So they do a lot of stuff for like Mario, a lot of the renewed stuff, which is really good. But I think where the magic of some of the games lie is games like the Zelda Breath of the Wild, the new Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby games are really great on the Nintendo Switch. Mario games are really great. We've also got Super Smash Brothers. That's always been great. Mario Kart, always fantastic. These games on the Nintendo Switch are really impressive because of the latest hardware. It has the 1080p sort of resolution. Now, it's not the best resolution out of all the consoles. We know that we have the PlayStation 5 that can play like 4K, crazy resolutions, but that's not what the Nintendo Switch is all about. The Nintendo Switch is mainly about having this small, portable on-the-go option, but also having that TV option as well, just in case you want to play it both ways. I think that's where the magic lies with it. Now, there are more impressive hardwares out there to this day. We've got the Steam Deck, which does way better resolutions, way better FPS, and it has a bigger library with the Steam. We can mod it to play Nintendo games, but I won't go into that. We've also got the Asus ROG Ally that has recently come out too, having a powerful handheld. Probably right now, Steam Deck is actually the way to go with sort of handhelds. But in terms of where the Nintendo Switch lies, I guess It's more for Nintendo games specifically. We've also got a really cool library in terms of the online shop and stuff like that as well, with regular sales on with the digital downloads, so that's really good. Did say in the past that it was the most affordable in terms of the console because games are, you know, $60 to $80 max, whereas on the PlayStation it is $120 now for a deluxe edition. But people aren't saying that is the cheapest like sort of gaming console. I guess Xbox is the cheapest gaming console in terms of the library because of the Game Pass. That's fair enough. I guess they're not the cheapest games. There's definitely games that I do love on this console that, you know, they do hold a special place in my heart. You know, Mario Kart, Zelda, Super Smash Bros. New Pokemon games, not really as much anymore as it used to be. Like, I've fallen out of love with Pokemon, unfortunately. I feel like there's some performance issues on the Nintendo Switch with those new Pokemon games. You know, it doesn't run smoothly, and because of these open worlds, it feels not finished and not polished, and they need some updates. So definitely not recommending some of the Pokemon games. And while we're talking about that, the cross compatibility with cross-generation console games such as FIFA, I'm finding there are severe downgrades with Nintendo Switch versions, so I don't recommend games like that for the Nintendo Switch. Basically, you're getting just like low resolutions. It's just not looking as great. It's not as smooth gameplay on the Nintendo Switch, so I don't recommend Nintendo Switch versions. Hopefully Hogwarts Legacy, they do something great because the PlayStation 4 port ran quite smoothly on it. So hopefully they can do something for when it releases for the Nintendo Switch. I will actually be checking that out for when it actually releases to see how it runs on the Nintendo Switch. So make sure you like and subscribe for when that happens. Some of the features that, you know, I've already mentioned was the stand, but I actually like the Joy-Cons. Like, not a lot of people do. I think that a lot of people do get the upgrades for the handheld. Either it's the Switch Pro controller. They can get stuff like these, which are these extra attachments. It only works with the handheld mode. It doesn't work for sort of wireless mode that you can get with these Joy-Cons, which I actually like. Has a motion sensor inbuilt. Great for like games like Switch Sports and stuff like that, where you actually need sort of these attached to your hands while playing it. And I find the buttons are like too small on the Nintendo Switch, and also the button layout is a bit confusing sometimes because when I go from console to sort of the Switch, the button layout confuses me because I'm pressing A, but I'm pressing this button, but it's actually B, so I get confused that way. So that's the only thing that really sort of confuses me. So talking about some of the later games, Tears of the Kingdom just came out on the Switch, and that runs really, really well. And I was very impressed with, one, the FPS, the performance ran super smoothly. So games are still coming out on the Switch that are great and they perform really well, specifically for the Switch. And I think that's when games are specifically designed for the Switch. That's when you're gonna get the best out of the Nintendo Switch. There are other games that I think are really useful for the Switch. More indie games. Indie games will run really well on the Switch, such as Hollow Knight. That will run really well because it's such a simple game. Like, it's just like a platformer type of game. Even Hades, yes, low resolution, but it still runs really well, really smoothly. So games like those, I feel like, do quite well on the Switch, and I see a purpose for it. Now, games like Minecraft, for example, once again, a bit of performance issues when you reach like a certain amount of blocks and a certain level of your build. For example, like I try to build a platform in this mountain, just try to get rid of all the blocks in this mountain to make it like a smooth, flat surface for a house. And I found that there was some performance issues where it was like crashing and slowing down on this model of the Nintendo Switch. So it does have some performance issues when it comes to big information. In terms of hardware altogether with the OLED Switch, it's still a couple years old now, and we're still waiting on a Switch Pro release, but the latest news is that it's not going to be released till 2024. So we still got another year of having the OLEDs and the original and the Switch Lite on the shelf. If you're gonna buy a pre-owned one, still go for the OLED Switch. Stay away from the original. I feel like the OLED has that upgrade with the OLED screen. Just gonna get a better overall experience with it. Either that or get the Switch Lite, because the Switch Lite is the most affordable. Switch Lite is only portable though, so you gotta keep that in mind. So you gotta think of, how am I gonna play it? But I think having the Switch OLED gives you the choice, and it's always better to have more than less. Should you buy a special edition? It depends if you really love the game or not. It doesn't make any difference if you buy the Switch like special edition or not. The special edition sort of offer just the special designs and look for the Nintendo Switch. Even if you're a brand new player, just getting the basic OLED, even if it's pre-owned, you'll get the best out of that for now. If you're happy waiting a year for the Pro, that would be great, and then you can get an even better Switch. But overall, those are my thoughts and feelings. That's my advice for buying a Nintendo Switch. If you guys want to like and subscribe to support the channel, please feel free to, and I will see you guys next time.